Hello and a Happy New Year 2025. What does that mean? Well, it means we've survived another year despite everything. All things being thrown at us from the government, from whatever, our own health, things in general, we have survived. So pat on the back for us, eh? Well done. So I'm having a Slurpee, so cheers. Yeah, I'm having a Slurpee, and I thought while I'm having a Slurpee we'd have a quick chat. Really just to say Happy New Year, and that's about it. Be interesting to see what this year holds, I suppose, for us. I think what's happened, over the last few years, from what I can see, is that people have got everything entwined. They've got themselves and their lives, their family, their health, their environment, them. They've got all that mixed up with all the outside influences, the wars, the terrible things, the pandemic, the possible new worry of something coming this way, a pandemic or something, and all that stuff, and it seems all, as I say, it's entwined, it's come in like that, So when people say, I wonder what we'll do this year, they're on about the whole thing, We're not in charge of half of it, so we can let half of it go. Now, we can let it go. I think we really can just let it go. Just thought my dog was behind me then for some reason. I think we can let it go. What happens in life is every last thing you do is touched by politics. Without politics, sadly, we do need politics, unfortunately, but without politics, we wouldn't have anything, would we? Politics decides on a lot of stuff, it influences a lot of stuff, and it's involved in a lot of stuff. And it doesn't matter whether you want to go and buy a new car or a second-hand car, politics is involved. The day when you retire, whether there's a postcode lottery on whatever surgery or medications you're going to get, that's politics, that's down to politics. Whether there's a dental surgery near to you is down to politics. How many kids are going to go to the local school, that's down to politics. When your grass is going to be cut by the council is down to politics, the minimum wage is set by politics, and everything is politics. Shall we go to war? That's politicians and politics. Everything is down to politics. So we do need politics, sort of. We do need politicians, sort of, unfortunately. But they're the bane of my life, really. They're the bane of everybody's life, because we vote for politicians, we vote for parties, and really the choice is so limited. They're all the same. You've heard that, haven't you? They're all the same, and they are all the same. It is so limited now that there is no difference, and therefore there's nobody to vote for. They're all scum. They're all thieves. They're all in it for themselves. And sadly, they are at the helm, and politics does touch our lives in every single which way, sadly. So whether we like it or not, we've got politics, but their outside, their influences on the outside world, all this rubbish to do with global warming or wars or just about anything, doesn't really impact on our lives. Not really. We've got them like that, all entwined, and we need to get rid of that. We need to start pulling away and saying, well, I'm going to look after me. I'm going to think about me and my family, my environment, my living, where I live, my friends, my family, my pets, my car, whatever. I'm going to think about my stuff, my life, what's impactful to me in my life. Now, of course, everything that's impactful to you in your life does involve politics and the bigger circle, because if you've got an operation, surgery coming up, that's all down to politics and everything, So sadly it's the bigger picture, but we can ignore it for the most part. Let them get on and do what they want. Now, the reason why I say that is I've lived a few years. I know what you're going to think, 26 or 62, one or the other. I've lived a few years, okay, and nothing really that politicians have done has ever impacted in my life much. Very minimal. As I say, everything does, every single day, 1,000 decisions are made by politicians, and 10 or 20 or 30 might affect me in some way, but not much, really. When we look at the bigger picture, wars are terrible, and it's such a shame that wars happen, but I'm not involved. I didn't vote for it. Didn't even get asked about my opinion about any war. So let them get on with it. Sadly, thousands, millions will die. I'm not responsible. It happens. And I pull away from it in favour of looking after me and my life. And that's the only way to cope, isn't it? I think, really, is to pull away. And that's just wars. It could be anything. It could be the money that we send to different countries to help them when we should be keeping it in this country to help us. I didn't vote for it. I'm not in control. And ultimately it doesn't really matter to me, not really. Of course, we've got old age pensioners who maybe can't afford to heat or eat. And that's impactful in loads of people's lives. Now, currently, I don't have an old age pensioner in my family that I need to be concerned about. If I did, then I would be supplying them with food or with money for heat. So even the government sending too much money to somewhere like the Ukraine and, ciphering off whatever they can into Zelensky's pocket, it's only a money laundering situation, and a lot of people are getting rich off the back of it. A lot of people with selling arms and lots of other stuff, and of course we know there's oil, there's minerals, all the rest of it in Ukraine, and that's what the war is over, really. But we send all that money there, and we should be spending it in our own country, and we don't. But that's an outside influence, so therefore I just ignore it, I let it go. Then we've got, in this country, we've got kings and queens living in castles, riding around in bloody gold carriages with a £3 million hat on his head. Should that happen? No. Not in this day and age. And again, that's politics, down to politics, whether we have a monarchy or not. I'm in favour of abolishing the monarchy, to be honest, and I really think we should. And the money and the properties and the land they own and everything else should be either sold or given away or whatever. And there should be, in this country, we talk about, the homeless. We talk about having no money to build prisons or hospitals. We've got old age pensioners struggling. Nobody should struggle in this country while some old bloke has a £3 million hat on his head. Nobody should struggle. If that bloke has 23 huge properties, Buckingham Palace has 177 rooms. That's 177 rooms. Give it up. Turn it into a hospital. Turn it into a prison. Give it up to the homeless, whatever. If we had a king or a queen and they decided to do some good with all that money, and we've recently found out that the king has a lot more money coming in than we ever knew before. It's only been found out this year, or last year, 2024. But if he said, look, I'm the king, I've got billions upon billions of pounds, so he's going to end homeless once and for all. He could do it overnight, literally overnight, but, whatever. When you think you got illegal people rocking up on our beaches that can suddenly go straight into a hotel with lovely warm rooms, 3 meals a day. It's great. So you don't allow that, because that's a crime. They are illegal. They're breaking the law. You don't allow that. And if somebody rocks up on our shore, you send them back. Turn the boat around and push it back. We're not interested. We're full. But somebody homeless, or some veteran, or some old age pensioner who's struggling, or somebody who's lost their home for fire or flood or whatever, should be put into these hotels with heating, with 3 meals a day. And we've got the money, clearly. If we can afford a royal family, then we can afford all sorts. We should have a much better army. We should have much better customs. We should have a border. We should be able to afford that. And if that king said, look, I'll get rid of the homeless completely. I will pay to have all them in hotels and what have you. And if that king said, I would build 7 new prisons, 7 new hospitals, I will fund bigger schools, whatever, then we'd have some respect for somebody like that. But all the time that we've got a king and a royal family who are sponging, who are milking the system, who are earning multi-millions more than they ever declare, it's time to get rid. That's my thoughts and feelings on it all. But again, there's nothing I can do. I don't vote for the royal family. None of us do. They're just there. In this day and age, it seems ridiculous, doesn't it? Kings and queens owning castles. It just seems absolutely ridiculous while other people are struggling. Normal people are struggling. Anyway, that doesn't really impact in my life because I can't change it. I can't vote on it. I can't have a say on it. I can't do anything about it. So I let it go. Nothing I can do with it. So again, all that stuff, that interwoven sort of nonsense, I let it go and I pull away. And I thought, what can I change? What can I do? My life. What impacts my life? For me and my dog, really. That's my life. And then when we open it up, it's me and my dog and my music and my books and my art. And then when we open it, it's me and my dog, my book, my music and my art, my internet, my bimbling. And when we open it, we got all that. And then we got a few friends and a few relatives and a few this and a few that and other things I like to do. And it never, ever reaches out as far as wars, as far as global warming, as far as the royal family. It never reaches. My life is too small to reach that far. So I ignore it, really. I just bring my life in. Look at me. What have I got? How am I on my little planet, my little environment, in my bubble? What bothers me? What can I change? What can I do? What can I improve? And that is how I can step forward into 2025. And I think that's all any of us can do, really, is to let go of all that bigger stuff, all that interwoven stuff. Make sure that that is separate from you from now on. That's just my advice. Do whatever you like. Anyway, so yeah, we'll see what 2025 brings. Hopefully it'll bring a few nice things. So, because we're out of Brexit, another thing that I didn't bother with either way, I don't think I was ever in favour of Brexit, of leaving Brexit. I was never in favour of joining it either, because we didn't join it, did we? If you remember, when I was a kid, we joined something called the common market, and it was good to be able to travel wherever you wanted to. Basically, it was good to be able to deal with any country on any level. It was good to share, to come together. It was, for me, safety in numbers. That is what that meant. And if somebody decided to have a war with somebody, then you got all this lot come together and said, "Come on then," like that. That's what they said, apparently. So when you got rid of all that, we stood alone and we lost all that, you know. Who's going to come to our aid now? We're not part of Brexit now. Why bother? Why bother with England, you know, or UK? Why bother helping them? That's the way I think about it. And even to deal with the UK, there's certain countries that don't bother dealing with us and what have you now. But on a much lesser scale, I have to think about what impacts my life. And one thing that I love is my music, right? I just got this delivered today, the Jesus and Mary chain. There's 5 albums on there, so I shall enjoy listening to that at some stage. That was nice and cheap. And apart from that, I got a little thing from the Royal Mail saying, "You owe us some money," because we're no longer in Brexit. I've ordered a box set. Now, I love a band called INXS, INXS, INXS. I absolutely love them. And although I've got most of their stuff, they did a box set, or at least a record company or whatever, did a box set. And it's every single album they ever did with Michael. If you know about INXS, sadly Michael Hutchence died a few years ago. They've sort of carried on, like plodded on, without him and a couple of different singers, but you know, it's a shame they've carried on, I personally think, but whatever. But with Michael, they did, can't remember how many albums it was, 11 or 12 albums or whatever it was. But there's a box set that was only released in, I think it was Germany, of all places, you know, just this box set of all the albums. Not only that, but there's some original photographs and artwork in it and all the rest of it. A CD box set with all the albums. And I really wanted it, and I thought, oh, I'd love that. You know, it's well overpriced, and I'm not going to pay a ridiculous price. So I was on Discogs about 3 months ago now, something like that. And I couldn't believe it. It popped up, and it popped up for a good price. Thankfully, it's a good price because I got a fee to pay. That's what I've just showed you from the Royal Mail. Because we're no longer in Brexit, it has to go through customs, so therefore it's going to cost me £35 extra delivery. 35. What a con. Luckily, I'm not bothered, and I'll tell you why I'm not bothered. I got the box set at a really good price. If you go to Discogs, it says on the right hand side there's like this 3 price thing, and it says the lowest price that they've ever known it be sold for, the medium price, which is the price that you're likely to buy it for, and the highest it's ever been sold for. So you normally buy from Discogs, you normally buy it between the middle price and the high price. But all depends how many there are, and if it's getting less and less and it's more limited and what have you. And this box set was limited, I got a feeling, I don't know, I can't remember now. I thought I knew, but anyway, it's a limited box set in Germany. And I looked at the prices, I looked at the high price, which is now what I'm likely to pay or more. And I found the box set prior on eBay and a couple of other places well overpriced, ridiculously overpriced. And I'm talking about 500 or 600 quid, right? That's what I'm talking about. So I found it on Discogs, 11 albums for less than 100 quid. So that's less than a tenner an album, but you got the box set, so you got, you know, the booklet that comes with it, the lyrics, the photographs, all the rest of it, and it is a one-off. It's a unique one-off, and this is in immaculate condition, so it's either new or close to new. And I thought, do you know what, that's worth it. Now, I could buy it at £100 and I could put it onto eBay for 250 quid and it would be sold tomorrow. If I was into thinking about the money aspect of it, and I'm not, I think about the musical aspect of it, and that's why I'm going to buy it. So anyway, I bought it, and you know, that's it really. So yeah, I paid less than 100 quid for it, so I don't mind that it's a 35 extra pound to have it bloody delivered just because we're out of Brexit. So anyway, I've paid that, and that's going to be here. Well, by the time you get this, actually, it'll be here, because the secret is I'm making this in 2024, really. Of course I am. Of course I am. How could I say Happy New Year? Anybody who makes a video saying Happy New Year is actually sat in 2024, really, if they're honest. Cheers again. So I may, at some stage, probably very soon, have to buy a new camera. You may hear a slight buzzing with this camera. I noticed it when I did the bathroom. You've seen my crazy bathroom probably. I think that was the last video. There was a lot of buzzing, so I put some music on. I'm not very good. I'm a professional YouTuber, you know. I'm still not bloody used to it. I deadened the sound all the way along, so that's great. Then I put some music on, so that's great. Only I didn't match them up. So you got about a minute of silence, then the music started. How stupid. Rookie mistake. But there you go. That's Bri, the professional. I've never been professional, have I? I do this for a bit of fun, and you know, people say, oh, like and subscribe and share, and you know, I'm not earning much money, so please, you know, whatever. I've never said anything like that. I do this as a bit of a laugh, bit of fun. I kind of enjoy it. Well, I do enjoy it mostly. I think my very few people that watch, they enjoy it, which is great. We can communicate to each other, have a little chat, so that's great. Every now and then I do a bit of a premiere, so I'm here as you're watching it, and we can type at the same time. That's a bit of a laugh. That's good. But no, I'm not a professional YouTuber or anything. But it does annoy me if I get a buzz or something on the camera, and this camera has just started to play up. So I'm going to make another few videos probably with this camera. We see what it's like in low light, indoors, outdoors, whatever. We will just see what's happening with it. And if it does appear that it's going to die, which I think it's on its way, then we'll have to have a new camera. But again, I'm not overly bothered. I bought this camera, I think I bought it when I first moved into Brick. So that was in 1920, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 6 years. 6 years worth of videos and photos and being banged and knocked about in my car. Then I think I've had the money's worth. That's what I think, really. So I'd have to buy something else. I was looking at a DJI Mini or something small, really. You know, just something light and something small. I'm not into all these settings and what have you. It's great if you're a photographer. I'm not a photographer at all. You know, I like what I like. I take a photo of something that I like, and if it turns out nice, it does. If it don't, it don't, you know. So yeah, I'm not really a professional YouTuber. I'm not a professional photographer. I'm not a professional anything. I just like what I like. And I'm not bothered really with the quality. If it's reasonable quality, reasonable sound, that will do. Apart from if it's got a buzz or if it's starting to die, then that annoys me. It's got to go then, isn't it? So anyway, this year, you know, I think it's about 6 years that I've had this camera. So if I can eke it out another month or two or whatever, then I will. If not, I'll have to buy a new one. It is what it is, really. Never mind. So yeah, seeing what this year will bring. Well, it may well bring me a new camera, I think. But I do hope that everybody, I hope that 2025 brings some kind of peace, some kind of settled feeling for everybody, for you, for me, for everybody. That's really my wish. My wish is peace and a settled mind. Recently, you'll probably be aware, but recently my mind has been anything but settled. Now it is. It's calm, it's quiet, it's settled. And I feel pretty good, so that's nice. So I'm going to end the year and start 2025 in quite a good place in my head. That's nice. But I've got a few worries coming up, obviously. I've got surgery on this hernia. I've got a pacemaker going to be put into my heart in about May, potentially. We've got to see about that one. Still no results. Well, no results. There's still nothing really back from the doctors whatsoever about this constant tiredness, this potential ME. That is still impacting in my life, and it's got to be sorted out somehow. I don't know how, but somehow. But, you know, that's there's a few things I suppose got to come up, but we all got things like that. But in and around that, I'd like to have a lot of peace, a lot of settled times, a lot of just being in harmony, just with me and my stuff, me and nature, me and my life, me and the quiet and the calm and the peace. That's all I want. It's not a lot to ask for, and the rest of the world, it can do whatever it wants to do. So let's hope, because we've always got hope, haven't we? That's one thing we've got, is hope. You know, and although hope doesn't change the outcome, perhaps, of things, maybe it leads us in a clearer way of thinking by having the hope. And perhaps that clearer way of thinking does influence the end result. Who knows? So hope is important. It's always been important in my life, and it's even more important now that I'm getting older, because what happens, what's flashing? Oh, I think maybe it's low light. See, this camera plays up. I don't know. I can see a flickering. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. I hope you can't. Yeah, hope has always been important in my life, and more so as I'm getting older, because when we do get older, we do have a few ailments, a few little illnesses, a few little things coming up in our minds, in our bodies, around us, in us, connected to us. So we do have a few things. But hope, we hope, don't we? We hope that our health is pretty good this year, or at least reasonable. We hope that our minds are settled and calm this year. We hope that the world is kind to us, that nothing really impacts in our life in a nasty, horrible way. So there's a lot of hope there, but as I say, we've got hope. So anyway, that's my wish for you, is that I hope that you have a calm, settled year, that health-wise things are good, and really your life is just good. You just have a good time, a good year. That's what I hope for you, and I hope that you have hope in your life as well. And I say the bigger stuff, well, let it go. By letting that go, you can then look at you can concentrate on you, and that's what you should be doing. That's the important message, really, of this video, this rambling, slurpy drinking video. But anyway, we will be back at some later date this year, no doubt. And we'll just see what we get up to. Much the same I expect as last year. Just dossing around, bimbling. Who knows? But let's hope everybody has a good year, a nice year. And let's wish and hope for good things, for nice things, for calm things. And we hope that whatever happens last year can stay in last year. If it didn't serve you, if it impacted in your life in a negative way, leave it in last year. Don't go dragging stuff into this next new year. 2025 is a new, fresh year, a new, fresh start, which means we have to leave things where they were. And sadly, if things didn't work out in whatever way, let it lay, let it stay, let it be. Don't wake it up. Don't drag it into this year. It's not needed. Okay, take good care then. Happy New Year. Be well.